Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Should You Play, where I show you some spoiler-free gameplay and give you my thoughts after playing new games for a few hours, while also highlighting and checking out at least one of the PlayStation Plus games for each month. In this video, I'm playing one of the October 2025 PlayStation Plus games, Goat Simulator 3, the second game in the chaotic Goat Simulator franchise that originally released in 2022. Despite the game's name, this is actually the second game in the Goat Simulator franchise, and Goat Simulator 2 was skipped almost entirely because, according to one of the game designers, no one likes the sequel. The game is actually a lot more substantial than the first game was though, and despite being greeted with microtransactions as soon as it booted up, there is some fun to be had here, so let's just talk about it.
I should really start explaining things before this intro ends.
There isn't really a story in Goat Simulator 3, at least not in the traditional sense. After a short intro cutscene that's 100% a Skyrim reference finishes, the game just drops you into the world and basically says go nuts. You're free to do pretty much whatever you want whenever you want, but there are objectives sprinkled throughout, missions such as growing plants at a garden or even running for president and forcing people to vote for you. The humor is front and center in almost everything you do, but how it's taken is going to vary from player to player. Some of it lands and stays funny, while other parts feel repetitive or a little too persistent. There's also quite a bit of repeated dialogue that pops up often enough for it to stand out too, so just be aware of that if you're hoping for a grand narrative with top-notch writing from start to finish.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
Goat Simulator 3 is an open-world sandbox game packed with quests, mini-games, and random activities. As you'd expect, you play as a goat who can drive cars, climb walls, and grab pretty much anything you can see with its tongue. Completing events and other activities earns you currency, which you can spend on cosmetics like new hats, fur types, or clothing, and a few of these cosmetics even have gameplay effects, like wings that let you glide or glasses that let you shoot lasers. You can't die, and you don't even have a health bar, so even if you get launched across the map or blown up in an explosion, there's never a penalty for your chaos, aside from maybe a 5-second arrest.
I let you off with a warning this time.
There are also collectibles scattered all over the map, including trinkets and vehicle ramps to drive off of, as well as instincts that serve as smaller challenges, requiring actions such as grinding on rails or just doing a backflip. Larger events require more specific actions though, and progressing through the Goat Castle by increasing your Illuminati rank gives the game a loose sense of structure. Depending on which pieces of gear you find or unlock though, many of these objectives can be completed with ease, which does defeat the challenge a little bit, but again, it's not really that kind of game anyway.
That's all you got?
Sticking with the theme, NPC intelligence isn't the best you'll ever see either, often letting them wander into traffic or having drivers go right up on sidewalks. The map, on the other hand, is a good size. It's nowhere near the size of something like Grand Theft Auto 5, but it does offer a parody playground full of pop culture references, jokes, secrets, and weird little discoveries. The environments range from farmland and forest to city streets, and you'll spot references to everything from Star Wars and Captain America to Dragon Ball and, if I got the reference correctly, even infamous Second Son. Controls are solid overall, but not perfect. Driving and using stilts can feel clunky, and precision platforming isn't really the game's strength, but even so, everything functions well enough for the kind of chaotic fun that the game wants you to have. If I had any other complaints, I do wish that the world was a little more populated. There are moments where you'll want to cause total mayhem with lots of witnesses or victims, but there just aren't enough people around to make it feel as big as it could.
Owie!
Multiplayer makes a huge difference at Goat Simulator 3.
You know this is a multiplayer game, right?
The game supports up to 4-player co-op on some consoles and 2-player co-op on others, though it's important to note that there's no matchmaking or cross-generational play. If you want to play with a friend, you'll need to invite them directly, but there is split-screen support if you prefer that, which is great to see. Some minigames and events are exclusive to multiplayer, but honestly, the game is just a lot more fun when you're playing with others. You can tackle objectives together, split up and complete them separately, or just ignore everything and cause some chaos. The minigames themselves are simple, but they add a few extra fun moments each time they pop up, and if you're the type who likes checking off every box, multiplayer helps speed that process up since you can divide and conquer items across the map. As far as the game's graphics go, Goat Simulator 3 looks fine for what it is. Some areas and objects are extremely low resolution, almost like flat pixelated images, and you'll occasionally see NPCs not quite interacting with whatever they're sitting on, but most of the game looks decent enough for the type of chaos you're gonna want to cause. The lighting and color palette also tend to lean bright and cartoony, which fits the over-the-top tone, and the variety of things going on helps keep things feeling alive. The music, on the other hand, can tend to get pretty repetitive, looping the same short melodies across multiple areas until it starts to blend together, and as I mentioned earlier, the same goes for a lot of the dialogue as well.
You're one weird-looking animal.
Overall, Goat Simulator 3's presentation gets the job done. It's not super impressive, but it doesn't really need to be either. The rough edges almost feel intentional, giving it that chaotic slapstick energy that fans would expect from the series. Performance-wise, Goat Simulator 3 is mostly solid, though because of the nature of the game, it's hard to tell what counts as an actual bug or not. It's more polished than the first game was, but if you judge it like you would a standard game, it's full of clipping issues, physical oddities, stiff animations, and a lot of frame drops. That said, I did run into a few moments that were clearly bugs though, texture and asset poppings during cutscenes, and low frame rate objects and character models especially, as well as a few instances of falling through the world. Things Things get even buggier once you start using equipment like stilts or transform into a tall goat, as the game calls it, but again, that's part of the weirdness that the game leans into. On the bright side, load times are basically non-existent during gameplay, and even when you enter secret areas, transitions are quick. The frequent autosaves also help make sure you never lose progress, even though the game probably would have been fine without them. Goat Simulator 3 is a decent open-world game to just mess around in. It admittedly feels like a proper sequel, or third game depending on how you look at it, and it's structured well enough to feel like a real experience while still embracing the chaos that made the first game stand out. There's not much for long-term value here beyond the collectibles though, unless you really enjoy sandbox chaos, but it's a fun distraction to jump into, especially if you have a friend or two who can join you. Not every game needs to be Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War though. Sometimes it's okay for a game to just be dumb fun with silly objectives, wonky physics, and a bit of personality, and for better or worse, that's exactly what Goat Simulator 3 offers.
This isn't good for my aura!
As always though, this is just my opinion. Whether you've just arrived on the farm, or you're already burning the city to the ground, let me know in the comments what you think of Goat Simulator 3.
Have fun. Please don't refund. Bye now.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
I embrace the panic.
Thank God. This is a relief. Thank God.